In the town of New Glasgow, there's a market that brings together farmers, like Keltie and Michael, and customers week after week. But beneath the surface lies a world of unique relationships and the hustle and bustle of a thriving community.
There's folks that we've been seeing every week for years, and we may know them by face completely and even like some of their buying vegetable favorites, but still not know their name. And then so you just kind of roll with that. And then, we have folks who, there's so many special relationships. I mean, like, we had a customer of ours who we didn't realize, because we assumed he was here before we were here, because we started here. This is our 7th season.
7 seasons?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But, when you're new, you think everybody has already been here. And so, but there's a lovely guy, Dave, who started coming around, and he has since told us that he was actually new here when he started coming to the market. He was new to New Glasgow. And he said to his adult kids at one point, they said, like, "Are you making friends? How's it going?" He said, "Oh, yeah, like the people I buy my vegetables from." And they were like, "No, they're just selling you vegetables." And he was like, No, I'm pretty sure we're friends. And so I remember a couple years ago, he started dating someone, and he brought her for us to meet. And yesterday they got married. Not yesterday, last weekend they got married on our farm.
Oh, no
in
way.
our barn, yeah. So there's so many funny, and we've got
great.
lovely customer Keith, who I think he actually got hooked on the flowers before the vegetables. And he actually really loves the new little bakery in Stellarton that's owned by an Icelandic gentleman. And so he comes by first thing in the morning, he swings by the bakery, picks us up a treat, brings it to us at the market, and then gets his flowers and vegetables.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The market is like your hub.
It is, yeah. It's definitely our biggest social scene.
Michael, Keltie's partner, when asked about the relationship with the market customers, shared how the market is not just a place to buy produce, but a social scene where people can come together.
The market, it's a huge part of our community. The thing I remarked upon when we first came out here was we were incredibly blessed to be able to walk into a great market. And I talked with some of the folks who founded this market, and it was a lot of work. It wasn't, it didn't just happen. And when we first came to the market, it didn't just happen. Like we waited our first season until we had ripe tomatoes, and then we came to the market, and people would come and they would buy radishes, and I'd be like, "Buddy, there's tomatoes right there." And it's a wild thing to not know somebody and then buy food from them. And so for us, the fact that there was a great market and lots of folks coming through made it much easier for us as we started out. And then it's grown tremendously since then. But for us, we do have folks who come out to the farm, but there's other folks who we only see at the market.
These connections make the market a vibrant and welcoming place for all.
An interesting thing is when we first started coming to market, we had to grow things that other people were not growing. Because if you think about it, people are getting their vegetables somehow, and then you show up, and they're like, "Well, I already bought these things that I need." And so then you grow the different radishes, we grew indigo rose tomatoes, which are a black tomato at first. And they don't produce as well, but people are excited about them. And so then as people become more familiar with you, they start to buy their vegetables from you. And so for us, it's, 8 years of trying different things and seeing what works out and what makes sense on the farm in terms of harvesting, what lasts well, and then what has the best flavor. And so one example is we don't grow a bell pepper. So everybody's familiar with bell peppers, the shape of them, but we grow a Carmen pepper, and it's a longer pepper, and it looks like it would be a hot pepper, but it's not. But it's incredibly sweet.
Those aren't hot?
Those are not hot. Those are not hot. Yeah. Incredibly sweet and juicy pepper. And so, but that what helps there is the relationship and people being able to chat with you about things. We give a lot of advice to customers about how they might prepare something or how they might use it, which is a lovely thing about the market, that you have time to chat with folks a little bit and introduce new things that way. But yeah, we grow shishito peppers because Way to Grow started growing shishito peppers, and we were like, those are delicious, and we kept buying them from them. And so then we're like, okay, we're gonna grow some shishito peppers. Yeah, not everything works. We've tried growing melons, and that just doesn't work for us. There's a farm down the road that grows delicious watermelons.
Yours.
Yeah, exactly. On the farm, you can get the watermelons. But everything here we grow ourselves. So,
Cool.
yeah.
The market is more than just a place to buy and sell. It's a social gathering, a hub of community support. Customers and farmers alike find common ground, forming friendships and creating a sense of belonging. The market serves as a catalyst for these relationships to flourish, providing a platform for connections to grow beyond the transactional. But what about the financial side? Keltie explained to us that in the early days, the market was their lifeblood, helping their farm business grow. Now, while the market still plays a significant role, they also sell on the farm on Fridays. The market offers convenience for their customers who can pick up a variety of goods all in one place. And through cooperation with other farmers, they can direct customers to sellers with products they may not have.
Yeah, so when we first started, it was all the market. We so appreciate that we moved to a community where there was room for us at the market, but also where there was a thriving farmers market, because it helped us build our business completely. And so now at this point, the market each year continues to grow for us in terms of how much we sell here. But we also do sell on the farm on Fridays. So now the market is just a little bit more than what we do on the farm.
Okay.
But they're so interconnected. We have a lot of customers that buy from us weekly at the market, but they'll make an effort once or twice to come out to the farm to see it. But the market's more convenient for them, and they can pick up so many other things here.
Yeah.
So another way that it works for us really great is that on Friday when we sell on the farm, we feel like, okay, well, we're the only producer there, so we're aiming to have as much of everything as we can, so people don't come and end up disappointed that they didn't have celery.
Right.
Whereas at the market, we have these other terrific producers. So when we come and we sell at a celery, and I can see, oh, Jason and Trisella still have celery, or the Friesens have potatoes and we don't grow potatoes, and we can point customers to those spots. And that works really great. So we love that Friday on the farm, and then Saturday at the market is a bit more cooperative.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it's not just a connection with you and the customers, it's you and the other farmers.
Totally,
as well.
yeah. I love saying to customers oh, we don't grow potatoes, but we buy our potatoes to eat at home from the Friesens.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So.
The market is more than just a sales platform. It's a hub of community support and a space where businesses start and flourish. Keltie and Michael, like many others, found their footing in the market and nurtured their dreams. Today, they give back by supporting other market entrepreneurs, creating a cycle of support and growth within the community.
The vendors for us are friends of ours, so we eat very well during market season, coming to the market. And last weekend was my mother's birthday, and so I got to go around and buy her presents from other vendors, which was great because I don't do a lot of shopping. But I mean, the market it's you never know what the weather's going to be, but people consistently show up with smiles on their faces, and
So why farming?
And neither Michael nor I came from farming families.
Really?
No.
That's
So,
traditionally how that would
No,
go.
I don't think so. Yeah. But for me I think for Michael it was largely me. And for me it was, I worked in a couple of different kind of nonprofit jobs with newcomer Canadians, with refugees, and with youth. And each of those jobs, I found that when you actually boiled it down, what was so meaningful was the time we spent eating together or cooking together. And so that got me more interested in cooking, and then that got me interested in farm. I kind of skipped gardening, so I went cooking, farming. Yeah, and so it's really like, I think some farmers are passionate about, some people are passionate about growing their own food, and certainly we love to eat our food.
Yeah.
But I also love to eat food grown by the Friesens and grown by Tercel and Jason. But I love that people are eating food we grew.
Keltie and Michael didn't come from farming families. For Keltie, it all started with her work in nonprofit organizations where she realized the power of shared meals and cooking together. This passion for food and connection led her to farming, growing food not just for herself, but for the community. And for Michael, why did he get into farming?
Well, I wasn't aimed that way. I had, so actually on our first date, I had been gifted some corn. It's a Tyendinaga Mohawk corn, and I had built a garden in my backyard to be able to grow that corn. And so when we got set up, we hadn't met yet, but I knew that Keltie was interested in farming, and so I said to myself, well, that's what I'll do. I'll bring her. I had harvested corn earlier in the season, and with that corn, when you harvest it, you braid it 2 ears together and then you dry it. And so I thought, okay, that's what I'll bring her on our first date. And I didn't think much of it. And then I had harvested, I think I had 4 ears that were really nice, and then I had 2 that were smaller. And I thought, well, that's what I'll gift her, the smaller ones. And then I went to get them on our first, leading up to the first date, and they had sort of shrunken and shriveled. Oh, no. And I was like, no, that's not the first impression I want to give. And so then I had to look at it and be like, am I really going to, gift somebody I've never met half of my harvest, basically? And so I said, okay. And so I brought it to her, and I had a whole spiel planned, and she took it and went in the house and was very excited, and her friends were very confused by why she'd be excited about dried corn. But she was on the date with me, not them. So
that's right.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, it'd be ending up with a farmer would be lovely to have a farmer as a partner.
Yeah.
And then I was very encouraging, and she at that point had been working on other farms and wanted to have her own sort of setup. And so I tried to be helpful and found some land opportunities, which I didn't understand at the time were really bad options. And but what it did was it forced her hand, because I was like, hey, this guy that I barely know said we can use his land. Nobody's been on it in 10 years, but it'd be ours for free. And so she had to find a better option.
This would be so easy.
Yeah, this would be great. Nobody's around here. And anyway, so then she found a better option. We ended up on Ironwood Farm, and we thought that I was just going to be sort of building the campsite where we were going to be staying and stuff like that, but it turns out farming is all hands type situation. And so I started doing more stuff in the garden with her, and by about September of that year, we were sort of like, yeah, no, we'd like to do this. So we have to find a place to do that, and that's how we landed in Pictou County.
As the market continues to thrive, Keltie and Michael envision a bright future. A new year-round structure would provide secure spaces for all producers, sheltering them from the elements. With more room to grow, the market can support even more businesses, acting as a launching pad for entrepreneurs to take their next steps.
But I mean, one of the things would be like, to be fair, like, we love this little spot that we have under the awning, and with the new building, it would give so many more producers of all kinds of things a secure space. So we're not under, even though we are outside, we're protected and we're not in a tent. So on a rain day, we don't see the same suffering that a farm who's under a tent is going to experience. And there's just only so much room currently. And the market is thriving. So it just seems like, why wouldn't we grow? And then, and I also, Exactly. Yeah. And then the number of businesses that start here and move out of the market. Like for us, the market is a long-term piece for us. It really works for a farm. But for lots of other businesses, they incubate here and then they may move to a retail space. And that's great. I mean, like, we drink the coffee here. We buy lots of baked goods. We buy our meat here, our honey, our maple syrup. So so all of that, contributes so much.
The New Glasgow Farmers Market is far more than just a place to buy veggies. It's a tight-knit community, a place where friendships are forged, connections are made, and dreams are realized. It's a story of resilience, cooperation, and the joy of bringing fresh, locally grown food to the people. Welcome to the market. Welcome to a way of life.
All right, the best meal we eat every week is our farm lunch. So every Tuesday, Keltie and I prepare a meal with things from the farm, and the whole staff sits down and eats it together. And it's the best meal we have all week.